Good evening. Welcome back. I hope you guys had a good day. You are halfway through a short week if you had off on Monday. So, shout out to you. Getting everybody on. Make sure you guys are sharing this with somebody that needs to get some real actionable items regarding this whole move abroad process. That is going to be important. If you are looking to move abroad, make certain you are doing a couple of things. One, I'm a big person on writing things down. Writing things down will help you. They will help you when you need to go reference something. Even the thought process of writing something down and taking it from out of your head and putting it on a piece of paper helps you remember, helps you start to set the intention that you need to actually go about moving abroad. I know it's a lot going on. You guys are probably overwhelmed and you are seeing a bunch of different things, different videos online, different forums are starting to come up. People that just left this year are now coming back with their findings and telling you all of the things that you can learn and see. And I will tell you that there is a lot of opportunity for you when you go to move abroad. Don't say that there's not any opportunity for you in the United States. However, you may be looking at the opportunities that you have in the United States in a way where maybe it's no longer serving you at the value that you would ideally like it to. I understand that so many people have their reasons why they're looking to move abroad. However, what I will tell you and what we're going to go over tonight are some actionable things you can do, some steps that you can take to kind of put yourself in a foundation. And a foundation is going to give you ways that you can maneuver through these steps, taking the right step in each underlying step. So you obviously have your 6 steps, but there are a number of things within each step that you need to do to help prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for what is possible in your life. A lot of you guys are looking at moving abroad and just saying, well, it's just an escape from America. And while, yes, that may be true, what you do need to consider and take into consideration is that it's a return, possibly, if you're doing it the right way, into who you were originally supposed to be. I say that is because in America, we are often down isolated to what it is that we can do, what it is that we make, how much money do we make, where do we work. These things are leading first as far as our value. You know, my name is so and so, and I work here. And well, everybody in here is a expensive person. They've got to have a certain amount of money to be in here. So I want to be in those rooms. And maybe you've been striving to get to those rooms. Maybe you have been in those rooms. And whether you are striving or actually enter those rooms, you're probably in a position where it's like either it's not coming or either I got it and it's not worth all of the energy. So, a lot more people are starting to look at these things, but as the comments come in, as the questions get asked in these DMs and messages, I've realized a lot of people don't even know where to start. One of the things that gets put onto the internet is my favorite, unfavorite thing, unless you give it some legs, which is do your research. Well, how do you do research without understanding? Google is an empty search bar until you put something in it. Now, you might be able to get a little further now with the AI and say, okay, well, how do I move to Colombia? How do I move abroad? You might even expand just not even to a country, just where do I move? The top expat destinations for people looking to move abroad. Maybe you've typed that in. What is it giving you back? It's giving you back some things based off of people who aren't you. It gave you some generalizations off of sheer numbers and things of that nature. But I start these conversations off because you guys need to understand this is a you thing. You can't go to my channel or anybody else's channel and think what he said is going to work exactly for me because I don't know who you are. You are you. So understanding that just because you saw someone else have success, if you aren't taking the same kind of intention, if you are willing to put it all onto chance, I say you're already starting off bad and you probably need to regroup before you have even left. I say this is because when I have conversations and I talk to a lot of different people, talk to a lot of different people that are people that have moved abroad, people that are looking to move abroad, people that are even past the point of I just got here a couple of years ago. Like they've been over decades of moving abroad. And one of the funny things that I find out when it comes to people that have actually done it is most of us that have left all went through these 6 steps that we're going to go over tonight. So you might say, well, how is that possible? You don't know each other. Well, that's how ironic this whole move abroad is. With intention, you realize there's a lot of overlapping and similarities when it comes down to not reinventing the wheel. And framing your move abroad gives you, one, some high level understanding. But two, I challenge you and everybody that watches these conversations, I challenge you to start a notebook, journal, whatever you want to call it, but start it. Start getting in the habit of writing down your intention of what it is that you're looking. Because the first stage of the move abroad process is exactly where you are right now. It's the ideation stage, it's the thought process of is America or is where I am the best place for me? But so many of you guys are just taking that thought process and saying, all right, well, I'll just watch a couple of videos and they told me it was $300 in rent over there. So I'm going to go off of that. Everybody says Thailand and Bali is cheap, but do you know any of the culture? Do you know Thai culture? Do you know Indonesian culture? Do you know that the behaviors that you may seem are nothing in your world, wherever you are, may be offensive and or illegal in some places that you may be looking at? Or are you looking at a microcosm version of your favorite or potential destination wrapped up in 1 minute reels and videos that are saying this is what it is, and if you want to know, come to my master class? And I'm like, there is a lot of classes out here and it's not a lot of masters. So this ideation stage is really important because I challenge you, not even just with me, challenge anything that you see. Go inspect it. Does it add up? And is he just saying buy this? How many times I tell y'all to buy? If you've been here before, you guys know. I'm not even telling you guys to buy. The buying things are there, but you guys got to understand that I look at the people that are still abroad, still in the United States, that are looking to move abroad, as people that were in the exact same position that I was in, with no one to tell them what to do, with no one to shape even the idea of moving abroad. Because this idea stage is, it's low risk. It doesn't cost you anything. You guys can go on the internet and do your research. You can go on and learn things or at least get information. Now, you need to be specific and intentful about where you're getting your information. Is that person somebody that has actually lived abroad? How long has this person decided before they said, oh, I left abroad and then now I'm turning around and telling others how they can do it? Do they have enough experience? Because I am only a person that there's people with way more experience than I have. However, most people aren't spending the time. But the people that are spending the time, the ones that are giving you things of value, we're not just wrapping this up in a minute. We're trying to get you to understand that this ideation stage is free game. It's a free opportunity to figure it out. Maybe mess up a little bit with no marks on your record. Think about that. Because a lot of people are saying you need to go from couch to the other side of the TSA immediately because you're ready to go. You can leave tomorrow if you want. Technically, you can. But technically, you can do a lot of things that I don't recommend, but you could still do them. So this ideation stage gives you the opportunity to kind of get some soft scuff in the game before you start to get into the real move abroad process. This ideation stage can help you narrow down where it is that you're actually starting to look for, because know what America you don't know what America hasn't taught you. Now, we go to all these great schools and everything else, but where does it show you how to move abroad? Where does it show you how to use your passport? Never mind even like leaving America. Where does it show you how to do your taxes? Where does it show you how to balance a checkbook? These are all like basic things. They're not showing you basic things that you need. So to think as something like you're going to leave the system, that there's going to be this red carpet and easy way to do it, I don't think so. The ideation stage gives you the ability to stay where you are and at least start gathering your resources. Understanding your why. We talk about that is so important because you need to know why you're leaving and not just have it up here. Put it on paper, write it down, visualize it, understand it. So many people say, I'm manifesting my destiny. I'm doing it on my own. I'm doing it the way I wanted to do it. And I manifested this. You think manifestation just comes from thoughts and prayers, hopes and wishes? It comes from intent. So when you talk about I'm leaving abroad, you are actively saying, I am about to do a 180 in my life. America is not like the rest of the world. And each individual place is not like the next place. So what you have to understand is your ideation stage may start with 10 destinations that you have. However, I tell you that I wouldn't go taking 10 destinations on at one time. But the only way that you are going to narrow that down in the ideation stage is if you start taking it, adhering to some of this advice as far as what am I looking to leave in America? But to ask you to what are you looking to leave would be remiss to not ask you what are you looking for. Now, I will not tell you that somewhere is going to be this Narnia place. It's not the best, like that place with unstrife and it just doesn't exist. You have to understand that you need to get comfortable with what it is that you're comfortable with. Some things you might not be comfortable with. Some things are non-negotiating things. You may be there's a lot of things. You might be looking into recreational things. You're like, oh, I won't be able to do this here. Well, can't do this here, then why would you go there? If you are looking to get in certain kinds of marriage that may be untraditional by somebody else's laws, but love is love. Would you go to somewhere that doesn't value you as a human? But do you know this, or did you just see a TikTok video that said the villa I got here is $300? The healthcare. I know you're used to dealing with terrible healthcare, and one of the first things most people ask me when they're looking to move abroad is, "Well, how's the healthcare out there?" And it's like the healthcare in the United States is freaking terrible. The healthcare abroad, a lot of places, you can afford a lot more out of pocket than you can with insurance. This is the reality of it. But what is there for you? Do not base your move abroad in this ideation stage off of all the vision and all of the Instagram reels that you saw. Well, this is what I want to do, and this is who I want to be when I go there. That's not you. You are you. So this ideation stage, you see how important it is? It's the first step on a journey. Now the 6 steps is not some sort of 6 steps, and once you're done, there's no more. No, it's an ongoing process. We'll get into why that is, but the first step, you gotta stop there and pause because this is where you are. If you are watching this, if you're taking time out of your day to watch this, you are in step one. What does this look like? But you forget that the what does this look like has a for me. So when I tell you to visualize your why, write these things down. This is so important. You've been so inundated with work. You get off for 2 days or a holiday and you do a bunch of stuff that you think, oh, well, I wish I had a little bit more time. Work is always at the forefront. I got to go back to work. I'm working to get money. I got to go spend money. So I need to go back to work to recoup said money. Everything is going back to work. These things are realistic. So you don't have the time to visualize your why in the sense of it's just in my head. You don't have a projection screen in your head and it's like, here's this credits of all the reasons why I'm leaving. So anytime I can go and reference these whys, I tell people to write it down also because it's not all green grass on the other side. You may run into challenges. You're going to run into challenges. But what happens is when you know your whys and you have a visualization and a reference point for them, you could always go back to them. Right before you decide, oh, well, things ain't working out and over wherever I decided, and I'm just going to go back to the United States. Well, go back and look at those whys before. Remember where you came from before. Now, if you decide to go, you can always go do that. But the whys are so important in what you're looking for. How can you leave home into a place that you have never ventured to and you don't know what your goal is? Think about that. What am I looking for? The ideation stage is such a foundational stage to the move abroad process. It's about putting all of these tips and tools that you need into your relocation book bag, because it's a long journey. You're going to need rations and a compass. You're going to need the pen and the paper to be able to jot your ideas down. Understand you're going to have to be open to meeting new people on the road. These are all things that you need to maybe shift in how you live your life right now in the United States. Things in the United States are very closed off. I tell people in the ideation stage, think also, what are you willing to give up? Many people think that living abroad means that you're living in, or they barely got any Wi-Fi and there's any roads out there. And it's like, no, like that's not reality. But what are you looking to give up? You might not think how much friends and family you may miss when you're no longer a continental flight away or down the street. What are you willing to leave? That car that you worked for so long to try to get and try to drive and be like, I made it. Are you willing to give that up? The house, the things that you went in there and it was a house was just whatever, and then you went in there and renovated and you got your man cave and your female den, your lady den, whatever it's called. Like, do you going to give that up? Are you willing to give that up for what it is that you don't know? Remember, you probably haven't written it down, but you don't have any guarantee of what exactly you're going to get on the other side. And so many people are just telling you about the great restaurants and it's $200 for a villa there, and you don't know what the neighborhood looks like. You just seen the villa and it's only $200 a month, and that pales in comparison to what you're paying. And you're like, it must be better over there, and it can be oftentimes. Yet we are starting and living long enough to see the people returning. Yes, there are people that have moved abroad that did not take heed to any of these things. Don't get me wrong, because I can't reach everybody. That's why I tell y'all to share, because somebody needs to see this out, maybe outside of you. But there are people that have moved abroad, did not realize where they were going, that America wasn't waiting for them on the other side. And guess what they found out? Well, I need a little bit more money. Even though it's cheaper than the United States, I still needed money. I had $10,000 saved. That went really quickly. What do you think? It's the world is still the world, and things are still it's cheaper for certain. But if you think that $10,000 is a retirement plan just because you're out of the United States, you are sadly mistaken and have been lied to by what America tells you. So many of you guys are in the ideation stage and are looking and calling me and saying, well, what jobs can I get out there? And I told you, you guys don't even understand. You are weaponized and don't even understand what said weapons are. You don't understand that you're looking to go get a local wage job in a different country, not understanding that USD and Euro are oftentimes the most valued currencies in the world. You have the ability to make those currencies, yet you're willing to relinquish that because you don't have a real plan. You're just thinking that you're going to just jump out of the plane with no parachute. Why? Why do you? And I get it, because when we're in the United States, we don't understand the value of what things have that have no value to us. Imagine if you had a bunch of bottle caps in your basement or in your trash or whatever the case is. You got 500 bottle caps, and you found out that each one of those bottle caps was worth $500, but they have been sitting in your house collecting dust. But all of a sudden, you found out they were $500 per bottle cap. Would you keep them collecting dust? Would you go about utilizing them, turning them in? Well, in America, the United States, your money, your dollar doesn't go as far in the United States. $30,000, $1,000 a month. Let's take $1,000 a month, because in some places that is what you need to show that you earn in U.S. dollars in order to qualify for the visa. So $1,000 a month. I don't care if you live in Arkansas, Wyoming, South or North Dakota. Where are you spending $1,000 a month to have food, a house, or an apartment, and you're going to not be on the street? Where in America? Nowhere. So why would y'all give up the ability where it only you could have these things for as low as $1,000 a month? Now I wouldn't go to say to make that, but you often are giving up jobs where it's like you guys don't realize what time frame we're in right now. We are in the digital age. And you guys say, well, I knew that. No, like, you might not know it. You know why? Because we've got AI coming around. Depends on what job you have. You might start seeing AI on your job and doing things that, hey, where did Fred go? Oh, no, Fred is an AI bot right now. And we didn't never take off. The AI bot never takes off. This is reality. You guys have to realize that in order to take off these tethers and things that are keeping the United States, you are going to start have to thinking in this ideation stage about what online jobs can you do, what digital skills. Not everybody can be a business owner. I get that. That's cool. Because honestly, if everybody was a business owner, then who would the business owners have to employ? That's fine. Everybody doesn't want to have all the responsibility. I get that. But if you haven't touched a computer, if you don't know, I'm not talking your phone. I'm talking about a computer. I'm talking about ASD, like computer, Mavis Beacon style. Like you need to be able to use at least the Microsoft Office suite. That can get you an online job. But if you are in a field that you have not actively touched a computer and you are actively thinking about moving abroad and you don't have a retirement plan, a pension, something from the military, and you are actively looking for work, you need to be real intentful in this ideation stage because the best advice I can give you is take your ability to make US dollars and get it online somewhere. Books, you want to write, you want to, I can't, that's not my head. But what I can tell you is don't give up something that is valuable. I know it's not valuable there where it is, but if you get abroad, it will be valuable to you. Things that you may have 30, you might say, I make $30,000 a year. If I made $30,000 somewhere else, I'd be on the streets. No, you wouldn't. When I was moving abroad, my dad asked me, well, how much did you save to move abroad? I said, excuse me? Sir, I'm almost paying like $8,000 a month in just bills. What are you talking about? I just don't have to pay that anymore. My lease is up, car going. What are you talking about? But we're so used to paying so much excess that we assume that that's waiting for us on the other side. The good and the bad is none of it's waiting for you on the other side of America. America is going to stay where it is when you go to leave. What you have to do also in this ideation stage is be flies on the wall. So many of you don't want to be on social media. If you're watching this, you're on somebody's social media right now. But you guys don't want to be on certain apps. I will tell you from a person that has moved abroad that did this, and still years later, it's still the best, in my opinion, from what I see. You need to probably go on Facebook. I say that is because obviously I get on here, I'm having an hour-long conversation with you guys. Great, that's all fun and dandy. And there's over 150 videos on Black Expat Life abroad. You guys can go there. It's 150 videos. You can watch them. But those are all things you can do at your leisure. Whereas in the Facebook groups and communities for expats living in wherever, because that's what you're going to be, you will see a number of different things. You'll see different real estate things come in. You'll see different opportunities for people to meet up or go out or festivals that are going on, things that are just naturally going on in the city without you being there. That is so important to your entire idea of where you're going to go. Because you need to know that nobody is waiting for you. Oh, we're waiting for her to come. So we're waiting for him to come. Then we can get the party started again. No, the party's going on without you. What does the party look like before? Y'all do the same thing. Who all over there? What's going on? It's lit. I'm on my way. How can you take that same thought process and not apply it to going and doing some real research? I see these crazy videos and they got thousands of views on YouTube and they're like Cartagena and the ladies and and I'm like, this is what y'all watch? And y'all telling me I went to, well, it's dangerous because, yeah, it's dangerous because you're putting yourself in harm's way. And that is what the viral media and all of the stuff is going. That's why I'm like, please share this because somebody needs to at least spark some thought in this ideation stage. Because if I can at least catch y'all on your couch before y'all run out and be like some of these people that are now coming home because they went abroad and didn't have a real plan, then once again, this is your life. My life is fine. But your life is possibly in the way to change that you can redirect your entire legacy. Yours, maybe you have children. You may be, I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, I didn't think I'd be sitting here talking to you. 3 years ago, I knew I was leaving, but I didn't think I would be in a position or spending my time on social media talking to people about relocating. But I understand I'm a community based person. And what this does is allow us to share knowledge, education, and resources across. So, reaching people before they are in Medellin or before I meet them in the airport and reaching them with something that they can start realistically thinking about in their head, it's so important. Because once you go through this ideation stage, you've got to get to the second stage. The second stage is, I mean, all of the stages are important, but they're done in a manner where it's about how do you go doing this in the right way. If you do the stages out in different order, it might not make sense. So many people are starting to call me and I'm realizing they're doing the stages out of order. They're calling me and saying, I've never been to Colombia, I've never been to Mexico, but I'm looking to get the residency. And I said, what? There goes the American education system again. Nobody knows how the passport works. I tell you guys, you got to chill. You got to chill. I know it's hot in there, but you don't want to put yourself in bed with somebody that you don't know. And you are also running from the American sensationalism. American has sensationalized a lot of the expat destinations. So places like Mexico, Panama, they've been in the news all year long with the current, United States administration. These are realities. So you're taking a bunch of what America told you and not really understanding what the place is that you're looking to go. You're just taking high level bullet points. Oh, it's cheap. Oh, things don't cost as much. Oh, the weather is perfect. And it's like, yes, these things are all possibly true, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be good for you or you're going to have a successful time because those things are reality. These things that we're talking about lead you to helping narrow down the ideation stage because you're going to go from 10 to 5, and then you're going to continue to do more research and say, well, I really thought I wanted to be in a beach town. But from everything I'm seeing, it just looks like pool parties. And that's fine when you get there. But I'm not just going to want to do pool parties every day. Why would I go there, even though it was on my list? So maybe you get down to 3. Or hope, ideal situation, you got down to 1 or 2, but maybe you're down to 3. That 3, I would say, gives you a better springboard because of the research you would have done to narrow from 10 down to 3. What also happens is once you get down to that 3, then you can start looking before you go buy a ticket into where, because you guys narrow down to countries and don't narrow down to cities and don't narrow down to neighborhoods. I know, I know, I get it. But Colombia and Panama and Mexico are countries. There are so many different cities. And then guess what? Just like America, each city is in a state. I know. They forgot to tell you in American history or American world history. That's where it is. But world history is not like what's going on now. It's just like Columbus in 1492. So take in consideration your education is lacking not because you're not uneducated, but they just didn't bother to teach you. So when you go to narrow these things down, you might want to go narrow down to your city because there's multiple cities in Colombia that there are expats that are living. Cartagena, Santa Marta, Barranquilla, Bogota, Cali, Medellin. That's 6. Pereira, Bucaramanga. That's 8. I have met people from America living in all of these cities. None of them are alike. Which one is for you? Oh, I heard Cartagena is awesome. I want to go there and go move there. Cartagena is small. Cartagena is also 90 degrees all damn time. Cartagena also floods sometimes, depending on what kind of year it is, because it's so low lying. Also, because it's hot, most people aren't doing many things during the day. Do you see why you may want to narrow down once you decide, okay, well, these are the countries from a how I can socially walk around, these things are acceptable. Cool. I want these countries down to a list. But then you've got to narrow again down to your cities. Oh, do I want to be in Medellin or Cartagena? Do I want to be in Merida or do I want to be in Playa del Carmen? Do I want to be in Panama City? Do I want to be in another city? Where do you want to be? Because those experiences are going to be different. Once you are able to do that, mind you, I told you, you're still at home. You haven't bought a ticket. You're using the internet. You're using the research and the things that you're putting in. You're saying, okay, well, where are the top places to live in Colombia? Where are the top places to live in Panama? How much is the cost of living? How much does an apartment cost before I get there? Because if you're paying $4,000, if somebody tells you the apartment is only $2,000, you think, man, that's 50% off. And all the utilities concluded, that's a great deal. But the person before paid $500 a month. Now you're paying $2,000 extra per month because you didn't do the due diligence. Now depends on what kind of person you are. Some people was like, well, I saved 50%. But the real cost is $500. You're paying $1,500 more per month. That's $1,500 that you could use to do something to value, better value in your life. But most of y'all are looking to just run out and not understanding you can do so much real groundwork before you go and book a ticket because you do need to buy a ticket to somewhere. And if you haven't taken all the anchors and you still got a job in the United States, how much time do you have to be able to go before you decide? Yeah, that's a big thing. I tell people, you guys get this 6 months on your passport, and you guys are really like, well, I spent 2 weeks there and in one city, and that was cool. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you think that it's wise when your passport stamp gets you 90 days and then you can extend that for up to another 180 days? That 2 weeks was all you needed. You think 2 weeks? The first week you were there, you were trying to figure out where the grocery store was, where the bank was, where the co-working spots was, how to get into the WhatsApp groups. Like, you're not even settled. You haven't even probably unpacked. And then by the time you get into the WhatsApp group, it's about time for you to start leaving. Those 2 weeks went past quickly. How do you know where things are, what to do, what your normal life will be like? So with the exploration stage and stage two, it says, okay, let's start. Let's start doing some things. One, I tell you to start, if you're really serious about moving abroad, because it's so much, start getting rid of some of these anchors. Stop buying clothes. Stop buying new stuff. Unless you got holes in your shoes, you don't need any more shoes. These are all things that if you're really serious about moving abroad that you can't take with you. So start from a what is around me in physical perspective of minimalizing your life. We're going to get into that in later stages, but I'm trying to tell you, like, you're not going to be able to take it all, like, at all. So start thinking this way. And then once you start to get into this exploration stage, you do this because, yes, you did a lot of research. Yes, you narrowed it down from 10 destinations to 3 destinations. However, that doesn't mean you know the place. That doesn't even mean you know it in relevance to what you need. You may go to some places and you realize that not every place is set up the same. What do you mean? Well, I'll tell you in Medellin, not all apartments are the same. There are apartments that are 4 stories that do not have an elevator. There are apartments that have 25 stories and have an elevator. But the 4 story one with no elevators got a way more space. The one with 25 stories and floor and an elevator, it's a tiny apartment, but it has a gym and a pool and 24-hour security. And the 4 story with no elevator, it doesn't. What's important to you? I don't know. Are you walking the dog? Well, you only been over there at daytime. Well, you got to walk dogs at night too. What's it look like over there? Is it safe? Yes, you do need to factor in safety. It's not, I wouldn't say it's any more dangerous in the United States because the United States is plenty dangerous. But you do have to realize that at least in the United States, you know what danger looks like. What does danger look like in the places that you're looking to go to? How do you navigate that without any eyeballs on what this is really looking like? How do you get those eyeballs? It comes down to the exploration stage. You may need to visit multiple cities before you go about jumping stages and getting to a visa and getting into residency and buying property, because that's where you guys have been trained to think. And I'm like, you got a lot more steps to go through before you get to that stage, my boy. Seriously. I mean, you can, but the probability of you having success is not high. And I can only do my best to keep you into a highly probable state of success if you adhere to some of the things that I'm saying. So going to the exploration stage and understanding that you need to get on the ground, understanding that not all neighborhoods are going to be the same. What are you looking for? You might go to Cartagena and find the perfect neighborhood. You might go to Medellin and also find the perfect neighborhood. So now you got to compare the two different cities and what they offer and what they don't offer. This is reality. Do you see how much work needs to be done as well as intent before? I know it's hot, but it's going to be hotter if you get caught out in the abroad with no tools, no resources, no skills, and no education to fall back on. So the best thing for you to do is educate yourself in a place where at least you're comfortable. You're uncomfortable, but at least you're comfortable right now where you are. You've been there for however long you're alive. It's not like you don't know what the hell is going on. You know you want to leave, but at least take a little time to put in, because when you go book that ticket, I tell you, I don't know what jobs you have. Maybe you have going to, by the time you go book the ticket and get to the exploration stage, you have started to maneuver into, all right, I found a job, or my job now allows me to work remote. I say that is because the best thing you can do in the exploration stage is be in a position to spend at least 90 days. Yes. Yes, longer than most Americans go on vacation. It's longer than most Europeans go on holiday. But I say that is because 90 days, if you are saying that you want to be there for a long term and give up everything you know, don't you at least deserve to give yourself a real understanding of what you're putting yourself into? That way, if it doesn't work, you haven't gotten in bed, you don't got a whole visa, you don't have to tell them how much money you make, get FBI background checks. You can just go back home if you want to. No harm, no foul. That was a fun experience. I've met people like that. Nah, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm gonna go back home. You have the right to do that. Moving abroad doesn't mean that you relinquish your United States passport. No, you got to pay out of that. Trust me, you will know when you are no longer a United States citizen, because you got to fill out a lot of paperwork and you got to pay about $2,300, $2,400 to get out of it. And that can probably change at some point. But that is not something, because I know people are like, oh, well, if I move abroad, can I come back? Like, yes, you're an American citizen. You still have a blue passport. You're not a citizen of another country. You're just a guest. But going there, spending that 90 days, that would be the ideal scenario. Ideal. Highest probability of you having success. And when you're there, you need to be intentful. Maybe you go to Cartagena and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to shoot over to Santa Marta, see what that's like while I'm here. You know what? I'm going to like Santa Marta. I'm going to stay there for 2 weeks. Cancel my Airbnb in Cartagena. I'm going to go to Santa Marta. I really like this place. When you go in there, don't have your tourist goggles on. What are y'all doing, man? It's Tuesday. Where everybody at? What are y'all doing? You're going out to dinner? Is anybody meeting up? In Medellin, there's 1,000 things going on. There's comedy shows. People are saying, hey, there's a dinner. Shout out to Michelle. She's probably got like unboxed situation. She makes body butters. They do purses, all these kind of creative classes. Like, there's so many things to do in Medellin. That's why I ended up picking it, because I was like, this place has got a lot going on without me being here. Never mind the kind of person that I am. I'm going to get on the ground and meet the people, see what's going on. But if you decide that you're going to go somewhere and you get there and it's like, this place is sleepy, this isn't working. There's nobody doing anything. I've asked about the chats. They're like, yeah, well, we got a chat for here in this city, but we don't have a chat for here. And then the people who are in the chat is like, well, nobody's doing anything. And I'm not saying that you're moving abroad to be with other people or even other Americans, but I'm just saying, when you start on a journey that you haven't gone and this is your first time, a lot of us are in positions to help you be not positioned to be taken advantage of with real estate and people scamming money. Like, there's so many things that an expat community can help you as fellow people that may have left where you're from in understanding. Now, you can still have local friends and be all a part of the local community. I implore you to do so. But because you don't know anything, because you have no foundational education on moving abroad, readapting into cultures that aren't yours, even if you speak Spanish, you don't speak their Spanish. And I know, you've been 450 days consecutive on Duolingo. Duolingo, they probably never give me a sponsorship, but I don't care. Duolingo is the worst place to learn, at least Spanish. Maybe in Swahili or German they're awesome, but in Spanish, you 200 days and I know how to tell people my belt is brown, and you're telling me I'm a grown man, but I'm in school and I'm telling about my professor. Like, these aren't realistic things. So take that into account. Just because you know Spanish does not mean you know the local Spanish. But this exploration stage is going to give you some real understanding. It's going to give you some real understanding about where you're going, what goes on there, what your life is actually going to be like. You got to wrap your head around this. You're about to rechange everything that you know. Everything and all that you know is America. Now you're going to be a part of a new culture and a new community, and thinking that it's just going to be smooth in the way that you have it designed because that's what feels right, or that's what you heard was going to happen, or that's what happened to someone else. Someone won a lottery today. Did you? Are your odds higher because they won the lottery? No. So don't consider that when you're considering moving abroad. This exploration process, get off your couch after you have done the research, after you've narrowed it down. And from there, go see what it is. Now, what we do on my end is we in Colombia, as well as my, colleagues that we have with Move Travel, we host relocation tours. Yes, yes, guided tours. Because maybe you're like, okay, well, I'm going to buy a ticket, but where do I go? How do I find somebody? Well, that's why we do the relocation tours. We bring you in front of people that you need to know. Imagine you don't know anybody that's a realtor. We bring you to vetted real estate people. We bring you to immigration lawyers that can help you understand what visa opportunities are available to you in this country. We also do things that are really important for you as just you. We take you to different apartments. We want to show you multiple different apartments because not all apartments are the same. If you take into Colombia, your apartment could be on a hill. I never had a car. Why would I didn't want a car when I was in Colombia. Why would you live on a place where you need a car and you don't have a car? Yes, the place is nice. Yes, the place is the right price, but you have to wait for Uber. There's a lot of traffic in Medellin. You know how long Uber it take? Sometimes. So these things are important to go see. Turn the doorknob. Do you know what a Colombian apartment looks like? Do you know what an apartment looks like in Medellin? Yes, maybe you can go on Airbnb, but just because you can see what the inside looks like, doesn't mean what the outside looks like. You need to see the inside and the outside. You need to know, yes, I'm willing to walk up these hills, or no, I do not need to be anywhere that's hilly. You need to figure out what people are doing on the ground. What we do on our side is take you to these things. It's so much going on in Medellin. Our relocation tours outside of daytime and giving you foundation. What we do is say, all right, let's go meet some of the people of the community. As one of the admins in the Black and Medellin chat, I do my best to try to bring as many folks to that chat that's from us, because I'm like, I've met so many people that leave in Medellin. They're like, I wish I would have found out about y'all sooner. I've been by myself. Why? Plenty of us around here, and there's so many more of the Afro population that is down there too that are hosting events and different opportunities for you to guys to learn from. But these are things that you'll get able to see when you go explore. But if you don't explore with the intention, you want to go there and hit all the tourist spots, why? Are you looking to move to be a tourist, or are you looking to move to live there, or at least for a time? And when you're always a tourist in a place, you never get the value of where you are, the value of the culture, the value of the community, the value of the people. And you might go on this exploration, narrowed it down to 2 or 3 places, and you might say, man, I like this city over this city in this country. And I really like this city over this city in this country. Well, the cost of living in this country is a little bit less. But the cost of there's way more stuff to do, and I'll have a more active social life, and I'll have access to these things. And now you get back to your original first step, and you're like, well, hold on, here's my whys and what I was looking for. Did any of these things meet? I'm not looking for this. Was this there? I am looking for this. Was this there? I went with my own 2 feet. Was it there? How do you know? How do you know what to do a checklist off of if you aren't going through these steps in the manner that I am telling you? Because hopefully, once you come back home after your relocation tour, after your exploration stage, like I said, you take 90 days. You got 90 days in the first one, 90 days in the second one, 90 days in the third one. You know what that means? It's that 270. You got the rest of the year, 365, 95 days in the rest of the year for you to get it figured out what you're going to do and where you're going to go. Seriously. And then guess what? Once the year start over again, you get a whole new 6 months. So if you're like, all right, I'm pretty sure Medellin is the place based off of me going and scouting these places out. Good. You know what you could do? You could go spend January all the way through those first 90 days, and you're saying, man, this is great. You could go and file an extension, stay through the 180 days, and you're saying, well, I might want to decide to get the nomad visa now. I would implore you to, if you have done all of this and now see that Medellin and this neighborhood is where you want to be, but you are doing these things out of order. So many of you guys and saying, well, I just heard Medellin is dope, and no, I don't know the language, and no, I don't know any neighborhoods, and no, I don't know anybody over there, where the community is, how to get connected to the community. All I saw was women, cheap alcohol, and perfect weather, and you got me sold. And those are the same people on the viral videos with tears and boogies in their nose talking about something. They got me. I'm having a bad time. Everybody go back home. Like I keep seeing it. You guys deserve better because I know what you're leaving. You deserve you to give yourself a better opportunity because you should know what you're leaving. You are still there. I am not. So these things are designed to spark thought process into you. Because once you get back home and you say, okay, let me go figure this out. What does the budget look like? How do you plan this in a way where it's making sense? I told you might have started to narrow down some of your stuff, narrow down some of your things and stuff. But this planning thing, oh my gosh, what's the timeline? You forgot how many anchors you have. You made your car, you let your sister, your forever hold it, it was sitting in the garage, whatever the case is. But now you're not willing to pay a car note because you're gone. What's that look like? Maybe your lease is coming up, so maybe it's the perfect timing. But what if you own a house? What's that look like? So many people call my phone talking about something. I want to purchase a house in Colombia. It's cheap out there. Well, yes, you can get a house for cheap in Colombia, but Colombia is an entire country. That's the first thing. Second of all, you purchasing a house wanting to get the investment visa, you have to purchase a house of certain amount of value. And just because of the value is 100, let's call it $120,000 today. Well, once you get into the nuances of the investor visa and realizing you may have to renew it at least twice, what will it be? And if they give you 5 years, it's not going to be the same 120. So you may need to purchase ahead of that. And what you guys don't know, because you guys are like America and America credit, you need money. I know you got 800 credit score and nobody cares. I'm the Colombian government. I don't care. I'm the so-and-so government. I don't care. That's good for you in America. But that thing does not give you the liquidity that you need to go purchase a house. You need real dollars, not fake dollars. That has worked good and bad in America. People have utilized it in ways where it's made them all types of positive lifestyle changes. A lot of people have been strapped with debt. So you cannot go finance your dream life and dream house abroad. So you're going to get into the third stage, which is the planning stage. You need to plan. What does this look like? Do I have a job? Come on, Tommy. You need a job. Don't come over here. I have been in a lot of different expat communities. You will be surprised who comes in places and don't have a job and then want to go and go get a local job. And one, you are not allowed to work on a tourist visa. That's the first thing. So you're doing something illegal. The second thing is, why do you think somebody wants you to take their job? Oh, well, I can just drive airport. People touring from the airport. Oh, you can? You don't think it's a whole generations of people that been working and doing that route the whole time? You think you're just gonna show up and just that is the most American thing that I see all the time. Like, well, what local jobs can I get? This is how I know you don't know anything. So planning, knowing how you're gonna make money. If you got that pension, you got that retirement plan, I'm trying to tell you that $1,500 you get every month will go a lot further over here in outside the United States than it is in any city in the United States. But making certain that you have an understanding of how I get my money, you will save your life. Thinking that these places are cheap, they are not as cheap as you think they are because somebody told you it was a third world country. What you going to keep? Now, I will tell you, most of us have storage units, but most of those things in storage unit are minimal. And as you live longer abroad, they just keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking because the likelihood of them, like, I'll probably, if I have a storage unit, I probably won't. It'll probably be my coat, pair of boots, a scarf, gloves, and a winter hat at my sister house. She live in Orlando. Like that is where I'm going. All I need is a coat and like hoodies and stuff. You can put all of that in like 2 boxes and just put it in this closet in your storage or in your house. Because having a big storage, like yes, America made you buy all of this stuff. You were looking for happiness in it, but you can't take it all. You can't. You shouldn't want to. You shouldn't want to be looking for America. That's why I tell you, know what you're leaving, but know what you're looking for. Getting yourself a realistic timeline. It does not have to take 3 years unless you want it to. You got a lot of anchors, and I don't know what everybody's things where they are in this life, but this is a thought process that you have to consider because once you go through this planning stage, these things start to get more realistic. You're starting to run into, okay, well, do I have a pet? Do I need to bring my pet abroad? Do you? Are you looking to? What's the paperwork like? Some places make you import your pet. There's import fees. There's vaccination records. Depends on where you're going. All of these things are going to be nuanced down, but that is one thing. When I got my visa, after spending about 5 months in Medellin, I realized now it was at the best time because it was a lot easier. I didn't need half the paperwork that people need now. Now you need FBI background check, and you need fingerprints, and you need. I always ask people when they ask me, when they say, "Well, I'm gonna go get the visa," I say, "Well, let me see your bank statements." What are you talking about? Let me see your bank statements. As a matter of fact, put your finger on there, and I need to get your fingerprint. Like, why are you asking for all that? Because that's what you need to get a visa, bro, sis. That's what you need to get a visa. Yes, a long-term visa, it's not even long-term because digital nomad is for 2 years, but that stuff goes like quick. And realistically, these things you need proof of work. You're going to need 3 months of bank statements. Some places wanting 6. Some places, depending on what visa you're going for, you need to show a certain amount of money in your bank account. Oh yeah, they want all your business. Oh, but they just didn't tell you that. They just told you it was $300 villas and $30 for a bottle in the club, and that's all you was banking off of, and you didn't have any other experience or thought process besides that, right? I know, I got it. It's all good though. That's why we're here. So it's like getting into the stage, man. It's important to know these things. Getting into the fourth stage. Guys don't realize is you might not be ready to pull up all that paperwork, or you might not have a job on paper. Yeah, I got money, but how do you make money? Then you're not going to get a job. Like you're not going to get a visa. You got to show how you're making this money, ma'am or sir. You also need to have approval that you can actually work. So a document from your employer that says this person can work abroad. This person has a remote job, and I'm willing to pay them. Yes, you need that. If you own a business, you need to also show your bank statements and how much money you make, as long as you make show that. But you also need to show organization documents. All of these documents, even a letter from your employer, needs to be translated apostille, which is essentially like an official person that says these documents have been authorized and legitimized by somebody that we trust. This can get really expensive. And then some people not realizing that you got to also maybe have these things translated, because you're not looking, you might say, oh, I'm going to do it myself. I don't recommend this. In the paperwork stage, I do not recommend this. You are already an overworked American. You are already overwhelmed. Point of your life, you want to put it into your own hands. You're going to do your own surgery. You're going to do your own extraction. I saw Castaway. The man did his own extraction. He was in bad shape. To look at this and like just like that, handle with care. So when you're looking at paperwork, you need to figure out what that looks like, what documents you may need from a medical perspective. I don't know what ailments you have, but you want to make certain that the healthcare that you need access is there, and then you have access to the documents that you need. And hopefully you, in your processes of exploration and the relocation tours, you've been connected with these people. That's why I say, if you can go through an established relocation tour, great. If you can't, go to our page, you go to Move Train. What it is a place to see. Do I need to, in order to move to the country, but you guys tricky. Be quiet and do it themselves. I see so many people being like, I got, and it kills me. They're like, I mean, no. Travel clubs, my job to be, and it's too much. My job is to get it. My job is attorney. It shouldn't be you unless paying a premium. Rather know that losing your money force you to leave. And outside, and somebody that stage in the payments. Yeah, you sure you had this sign so that you have you're faced with leaving. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about technology failing me. But now you're faced with leaving. What do you take? You got to put your entire life into a couple of bags, and that is when it's going to hit you. If your head and say, "This is a little bit more overwhelming," but that is when it's going to hit you.